everyone, my name is Callie Weisner, and today I will be talking with you about the influenza virus. What is the influenza virus? This is commonly known as the flu. There are three types of the influenza virus: type A, type B, and type C, which can only affect humans. The flu is very easily spread and is normally self-diagnosed. You can prevent the flu with a seasonal vaccine, and symptoms range from mild to severe. People who are diagnosed with the flu often feel symptoms very abruptly. The flu normally lasts about 6 to 7 days, and symptoms both include respiratory and constitutional. How do I get the flu? The flu viruses are spread mainly by droplets made when people with the flu cough or sneeze. So you can get the virus when you're within 6 feet of someone with the flu. Symptoms include respiratory and constitutional. Respiratory symptoms include sore throat, coughing, and nasal congestion. Constitutional problems include fever, headaches, fatigue, and body aches. You have gastric problems, respiratory problems, nasal problems. It even can affect your brain, muscular problems, and joint problems, which causes your body aches. Okay, so the three types of influenza virus. You have type A, type B, and type C. All right. Type A. Type A is your most common influenza virus. Symptoms include respiratory problems, coughing and sneezing, constitutional problems, including fever, fatigue, and headaches. It is very easily spread and can cause an epidemic. It does have a vaccine, and it can cause a pandemic, which is included worldwide. The genetic drift mutation is the highest in the type A virus. You can catch type A through animals, birds, pigs, dogs, and horses. All right, type B. Type B is a more mild version of type A, but it also has the same symptoms. It can cause an epidemic, but no pandemic. It can't be spread worldwide. It does have a vaccine. The vaccine that is used for type A and type B. And the genetic drift of the mutation in the virus is in the middle between A and C. But you can't get type B from an animal. All right. Type C. Type C is the mildest form of the flu. It only involves respiratory problems. There's no epidemic, no pandemic, there's no vaccine for it, and far as the genetic drift, the mutation is the lowest, and you cannot catch it from an animal. There's great controversy on whether type C is just a common cold. Okay, now we're going to look at the structure of the virus. The shape is roughly spherical. The size of it is 80 to 120 in nanometers. Nanometers is, 1 nanometer is a billionth of a meter. Okay, and as you can see, as we look at the animated version of the cell, we see that it is a enveloped virus made up of lipids and proteins. The genetic makeup is here in the center, and it includes RNA, the proteins on the outside which connect to the human cells. Once they enter the body are the hemagglutinin, and then to release the virus, it is the neuraminidase proteins. And you can look down and see an actual picture of a influenza virus. Okay, now we're going to talk about the virus function. The virus has two main functions: to copy its genetic material inside the mutated cell, And then once the genetic material is made, it is then transported out of the nucleus to the receptors where it can be easily spread. All right, the virus in action. In a simple form, the virus is made of proteins and lipids. Inside the cell is a genetic material known as RNA. And the RNA helps the virus to replicate. The two types of proteins that are located on the outer shell of the virus are hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. These proteins make contact with the other cells, the human cells. The virus can make contact with the cell when hemagglutinin holds on to the celiac acid, which is located on the outer portion of the human cells. And once they have a hold, the RNA can then travel inside of the human cell, and it goes straight for the nucleus. And when it goes to the nucleus, it basically hijacks it and makes it into a small factory of making RNA for the influenza virus. And once the RNA is made, it is then transported to the ribosomes, where the ribosomes make the proteins and for the virus, and it makes a small influenza virus, which is then transported to the receptors of the human cell, which can be spread in large numbers. Okay, what causes the flu symptoms? When the human cell is taken over by a virus, the cell will eventually die. And when the cell dies, it leaks out its contents, and it causes inflammation in that area, which explains your sneezing, your coughing, and your sore throat. Okay, treatment. Treatment is your body can basically fight off do your treatment for you. You do need medication to help, which you can use soothing remedies, an anti-inflammatory, antihistamine, pain reliever, and other treatments to help you with this. But inside your body, your immune system helps fight off these diseases, which with your defense mechanism known as your white blood cells. There is a preventative, and it is known as the flu vaccine, which can be quite controversial on whether to take a vaccine or not. But all in all, the influenza virus is a very interesting virus, and when I studied it more, I learned a lot about it, and there are very many cases of it, and I feel like people need to be aware of what goes on when they do have a cold or the flu. Okay, here's my audience, my mother and my sister.